guys, it's Nadine and welcome back to my channel. Today I've got a story time for you guys. I know with everything that's going on, the whole coronavirus, oh, I don't think you're allowed to say that on YouTube, are you? I'm like, I need some positivity like in my life. Like I need something, I need something to lift my spirits, because I've been really just in one of the moods like of uncertainty. Like I don't know what is going on in my life. What is going on? Am I even going to survive this? By the grace of God I will. Like what is actually going on? But I hope everybody is safe. Hope everybody's at home and staying self-isolated and quarantined, because I know some people are hard of hearing. That's a story for another day. But anyway, with the whole situation that's going on, it's really like depressing. I need to do my makeup, man. I need to look good. So yeah, I've got a story time to tell you guys. It's a very painful subject to talk about, but now that I'm kind of through it, I can actually speak about it. My hands dry. Oh, I can actually speak about it without me getting so emotional. Where do we start, guys? My eyes itching. You know, if you watched my previous video, you would have known that I was pregnant. My due date was supposed to be April 20th, so I was all excited. Like I was going to do like a gender reveal for you guys, because I already knew what I was having. I was going to do a gender reveal for you guys. I was going to do organising my hospital bag, you know, just little fun cute like stuff that's going to get me excited for the baby to come. Me organising the baby's clothes, just exciting things that I never recorded with my previous 2 pregnancies. So I just thought, let me do something exciting. But God had different plans. So some of you that may know me personally and that's on my socials, I gave birth 9 weeks early. It's been a roller coaster. When I mean to tell you, it has been the craziest 2 months of my life, honestly. So where do we start? So in the last video that I posted on my YouTube channel, I obviously spoke about my pregnancy and the finding out that my baby could potentially have Down syndrome. You know, already having a stressful pregnancy anyway, because I found that out when I was 5 months pregnant. So I was already obviously having all these thoughts in my head that my baby could possibly have Down syndrome, trying to prepare in case my baby did have Down syndrome. So that was already depressing and upsetting for me anyway. Obviously coming to the last couple of months of my pregnancy, getting excited. Besides the whole Down syndrome palaver, everything else in the pregnancy was smooth sailing. There was no vomiting, no nausea, nothing. Everything was just like fine, perfect. So it came to like February, just say about February 10th, for example. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it was like the baby wasn't moving as much, and I was a bit nervous, and I was at playgroup with my son. So I said, you know what, once playgroup finishes, I'm going to give it till playgroup finishes. So I'm going to give it about half an hour. Once that half an hour is done, if I do not feel this baby moving like the baby normally does, I am going to the maternity assessment unit to go and get myself checked over. I was thinking in my head, it's probably nothing. Nadine, you're just being dramatic. You're just being dramatic. There's nothing wrong. You're just over exaggerating. That's what I was thinking in my head. After baby group, I went home and I ate, and baby was moving perfectly fine. Baby was happy. Baby was kicking. Baby was moving. That was fine. So a few days went on. Baby was doing normal activity, normal moving, everything. Then I started to feel reduced movements again. So I spoke to my partner and I said, partner, the baby's not moving. He said to me, Nay, calm down. You're probably just stressed and overworking yourself. Go and lay down and have a cold glass of water. So I went to lay down, went to have a cold glass of water, had that cold glass of water, and the baby wasn't really moving. I could feel the baby turning. So I know that the baby was alive because I could feel baby moving, but I couldn't feel the kicks. There was no kicks, no punches, nothing. It was just movement. There was tightenings in my stomach that made me know. So this was on a Monday that I felt something wasn't right. So on Tuesday, I went to the maternity assessment unit and I sat for about an hour until I got seen. So the midwife put me on the monitor. She was monitoring. As soon as she put me on the monitor, I felt relieved that I could hear the baby's heartbeat. That was like amazing for me, because I wasn't sure what was going on with the baby moving and stuff, and the baby's heart rate is traced on a piece of paper. If you guys haven't had a baby before, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like traced on a piece of paper, so they can obviously look back at the paper and monitor and see if there's anything wrong on that recording of paper, whatever. There was just like a long straight line, and the midwife said, oh no, something is not right. And I said, what's wrong? Like, the baby's heartbeat, obviously me being oblivious, I was like, what's wrong? The baby's heartbeat is beating perfectly fine. What is going on? And she was like, well, basically, normally on a trace, you're supposed to see some wiggly lines, and your trace is just straight. So basically, she said, you need to get to the labour ward now. So I'm panicking. Bear in mind, I went to this to the maternity assessment unit by myself. I told my partner to watch the kids because I didn't know it was going to be anything. I didn't think it was going to be anything serious. So I told my partner to watch the kids. I said, we were supposed to go out that day as well. So the plan was, I had already got up and bathed. I told him to get the kids dressed and bathed while I was there. And by the time I'd come home, the plan was that we was going to go to my mum's house together. So it was weird. The woman told me I should get myself to the labour ward so they can check me over like more in depth. So I said, okay. So I called my partner as I'm walking, because the birth centre and the labour ward is two different departments, like two different blocks. It's like a 5-minute walk. So I called my partner when I was walking to the labour ward, and I said, partner, I am going to the labour ward. I don't know what's happening, but they told me to get myself there because the baby's trace was not looking good. So he was like, okay, well, just update me. I said, okay. Went to the labour ward. They put me on the monitor. They monitored me again. Still same thing. Baby's heartbeat fine. Baby's heart rate fine. But no movement. So the scanographer came to me and was like, hi, obviously, you know the situation. You know that baby's not moving. We need to try to figure out why baby's not moving. In a lot of these cases, what could happen is that the placenta could have detached itself, which means that baby isn't getting nutrients, and because baby isn't getting nutrients, baby doesn't have energy to move. So instantly I'm panicked. I'm like, okay, detached placenta, which means starved oxygen, which means my baby could die. That's what I thought straight away. So he scanned me. He said, let me scan you because I want to check baby's size to make sure that the placenta hasn't detached itself. I said, okay. So he checked baby's size. Baby was good size, but he did say that baby is smaller, like on the small spectrum, on the smaller side. So I said, okay, cool. He scanned me for about half an hour, looking to try to figure out and find out why baby wasn't moving right. So in that half an hour, he was scanning me, trying to look for things, checking the organs fine, checking hands, feet, checking the brain, checking everything, right? So I'm just sitting there panicked, like, don't know what to do, don't know what to do, don't know what to do. Bear in mind, I'm still not thinking that it is as bad as it was. I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna land, but I still wasn't thinking it was as bad as it was. So anyway, he was scanning me for about 30-35 minutes, and still, like, the baby was moving, like you see the baby flip, but still no kicks, no punches. And then the man said to me, I think it was a doctor, the doctor said to me, Miss, have you noticed that I've been scanning you for about 35 minutes and your baby has not moved once? And I said, something's not right, is it? And he goes, no, So he said, what we're going to do is we're going to speak to the team to see what we can do next. But in the meantime, we're going to pop you on the monitor again, just to obviously monitor baby to see if baby's changed, maybe baby's sleeping, because sometimes when you're pregnant, babies can sleep for about 40 minutes per sleeping session. So I was like, okay, maybe baby's just sleeping. So they put me on the monitor, and the baby's heart rate dropped. They said, miss, we're gonna have to rush you in for emergency C-section. So they're rushing. I'm walking down the hall, like changing, like taking off my top half, like in a hallway, rushing. Bear in mind, this is emergency now. They need to get baby out now because baby is going to die. Literally, that's what they told me. They told me if I didn't come into that hospital on that day, baby would die. God forbid. But that's what they said. Rushing me down the hallway. Bear in mind, I'm by myself. I am by myself. I just thought I was going to go and have a quick scan and everything would be fine and I'd be at home and we would be going to my mum's house. That's what I thought. So as I'm rushing down the hallway and they're trying to get in like all the surgeons and the nurses and the doctors, everything all together to operate on me, I said, oh my gosh, like, can I call my partner? What am I going to do? I said to him, sorry, tell a lie. The nurse spoke to me and said, excuse me, sir, your wife, she's going to have they're going to deliver the baby now because there's something not right with the baby. His first instinct was to just take our kids to my mum's house because we was planning to go there anyway as a family. So his first instinct was he told the doctor that he was going to take the kids to my mum's house and come. By the time he'd come, baby was already born. Literally, as soon as I got off the phone to him, baby was born about 20 minutes after the doctor had got off the phone to him. The baby was born 20 minutes after the doctor had got off the phone to him. So before they rushed me to a theatre, they did say if baby continues to not respond, then we may have to consider a C-section. So I said, okay, when would we have the C-section? They said maybe tomorrow. So that's why I didn't call my partner then, because I thought, okay, tomorrow, at least that would give me time to go home or get stuff or tell him to bring me stuff to the hospital, and he would be there with me. It's so hard because I don't really have much people that can help me with my children besides him. We don't really get much support from anybody, to be completely honest. And it's like, okay, cool. A lot of things that I need him to be there with me for, he can't because there's no one to have the kids and the kids can't come. So I said, he said he's going to drop them to my mum's. And by then it was already too late. I had already given birth. By myself. Imagine being in a room, yeah, with about 20, no word of a lie, 20 people, 20 to 30 people surrounding you with all, like, obviously they've got their surgery equipment on, they've got masks, they've got hats, they've got everything. You don't know one single person, and you have to put your all your trust, all your hope in these strangers. Do you know how painful that is? Emotionally, mentally. Do you know how strenuous and how scared I was? Number one, I've delivered two of my two previous kids I've delivered vaginally. I've never had a C-section. Do you know how scared I was? I was shitting myself. And what was even more painful for me is that I didn't have anybody there with me. Like, I didn't have anybody there with me. And I couldn't blame my partner because at the end of the day, he was looking after the kids at the time. And 2, he wasn't to know that it was going to happen. And 3, he couldn't do anything. By the time he'd come back from my mum's house from dropping the kids, the baby had been born long ago. The only thing that he could do is just support me there and then in that moment. and it was just upsetting. Okay, so when baby was born, baby had a bunch of things that was wrong with her. She had high blood lactate acids in her blood, so they had to correct that. She also had jaundice, and she was underneath the light. She was having light phototherapy. She was having phototherapy for a long time, probably I think close to like 5 days, because what they do is they take your blood gases. So what they do is they prick the heel of your foot, they take the bloods, they test the bloods, and so if say for example if the jaundice level is here, you have to be 6 boxes above it. It's like a grid, so it would be like the jaundice levels here, and the baby has to be about 6 blocks above the jaundice level. If you're one line above it, then you have to go back on the jaundice line. You have to be at least 6 boxes above the jaundice level. She was first born, she was nil by mouth because they thought she had problems with her kidneys. They didn't want to, so they thought she had problems with her kidneys. She had high blood lactate, she had jaundice, and a bunch of other things. So when she was born, they didn't want to give her food because they was trying to sort out her issues first. They wanted to get her body right before they started feeding her, because with babies they're so fragile that if you start feeding them and their bodies are going through a lot of things, their body may shut down. When a baby has an infection, sometimes they can act like that. She was just floppy. Okay, so in my belly she was alive, but she was just floppy. She wasn't moving, she was just floppy. Okay, so yeah, they gave her antibiotics as a precaution because they didn't know if she had any infection. Now with babies, if there is any showing signs that a baby could have an infection, they will do a blood test, but they start the antibiotics straight away, because God forbid if your baby did have an infection and they've waited 3-4 days for the blood test to come back, then that means that your baby's been 4 days without antibiotics and the baby's condition could worsen. Whereas if you start the antibiotics before you find out the result, at least you know if the baby has an infection, it's already been resolved because the baby's currently taking the antibiotics, if I'm making sense. Those were the things that she had done. She also had a head scan, a brain scan, she had an x-ray, a chest x-ray, and everything came back normal. Everything came back normal. The doctor said that obviously they're trying to find out the reason why she was like that, because obviously she wasn't well in my stomach. This is why they had to give me an emergency C-section. Okay, so bear in mind when she was born they rushed her straight to the intensive care unit, and that's where she lived for 4 weeks, and those 4 weeks was the longest 4 weeks of my life. Bear in mind all the tests that came back that the doctors did came back fine, so she was fine. And on top of all this going on, I was still wondering if she had Down syndrome, because when she was born, I don't know if because she was a preemie baby, but when she was born I looked at her and it looked like she did have Down syndrome. And like obviously if she had Down syndrome, that's my child, I would love her regardless of anything, but you just need to, you want to know to prepare yourself. Do you get what I mean? So I looked at her and I thought that she was Downs, but we was waiting for some tests, because they did some tests called cultural tests. So the cultural test will detect if your child has any chromosome abnormalities, and so I was waiting for the test, and I was just looking at her every day. She did look a bit, you know, funny, and I just thought, okay, she has Downs, you know, whatever. But then when the test came back, I think 2 weeks after she was born, she doesn't have Down syndrome. We thank God. She doesn't have Down syndrome. She's completely healthy. When she was born, she weighed 3 pounds 7 ounces. She was so tiny. So they had to give her some fat, right? And it basically helps fatten you up, basically. And also when she was born, she was nil by mouth, as I said before. So she was on like some liquids to hydrate her, and you know, to give her body all the nutrition that the body needs. She also had a lung line. So a lung line is like a line that they put in, and I think it's through your lung. So basically she had a feeding tube, because obviously she couldn't drink because she was so tiny. She couldn't hold a bottle in her mouth, and because she was very ill when she was born, they wouldn't try to feed her. So she had a feeding tube, and she had a lung line, so they fed her through the feeding tube, but it gave all her nutrition through the lung line. No, with the lung line, they put it in a thick vein. So they put it in a thick vein in her leg, and she could have thicker fluids through there, whereas the feeding tube she couldn't. So she was born, oh, I keep saying she, I'm actually just telling you it's a bloody girl, okay? It's a bloody girl, right? So baby was born on the 18th of February at 3:10 p.m. weighing 3.7 pounds, okay? That's what she weighed, and that's when she was born. So her birthday is 18/02/20. Her due date was April 20th. That was her due date, 5 days before her dad's birthday. That was her due date, but God had other plans, and she's here, and it took a lot of strength and courage, and it took a lot of work to get her here today and to get her to be healthy and strong. She's now blossoming. She is lovely, she is gorgeous, she is strong, and yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, so basically a day after me giving birth, so on the 19th of February, they discharged me, and it was horrible, having to go home, having to give birth and go home and leave my baby in the hospital. Bear in mind, I'm in pain. I can't do anything. I can't sit down. I can't sit down. I've left my baby in the hospital. I'm traumatized because I've just had major surgery. I've got two kids. I've got two kids at home that I feel like I've neglected. I've got a 1-year-old that's running around that wants mummy to pick him up all the time, and I physically cannot. When I tell you, the day I came back from the hospital, I tried to sit down. I didn't try, I sat down on my sofa. When I sat down, that pain, whoo, that pain that hit me, I swear, it was like my soul left my body. Yeah, my soul left, and it didn't return for a very long time. That pain, I could not do anything by myself. When I mean my partner, I'm not gonna lie, he gets on my fucking nerves sometimes, but I really appreciate him. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, there's no way I'd be able to do it, because I can only imagine what single mothers go through, like doing it by themselves, having a C-section, because a C-section is not nice. This is not the easy way out. I'm telling you that from now. Anyway, he was at my beck and call. He had to pick me up, not physically pick me up, but like lift me up. He had to sit me down. He had to bath me. He had to bath me. I was bleeding, so I went toilet, and obviously the blood ran down the toilet, like the bottom of the toilet, not inside. It ran down the toilet. TMI, but he had to clean that for me. Bear in mind, I'm not the sort of woman that allows my partner to be seeing me on my period and see my blood and all those things. No. So for him to like clean the blood like that, took care of the kids, bathed the kids, cooked for me, and he cooked, but once in a while. I mostly cook, but he cooked for me, literally everything, helped me in and out of the bath, washed me. He did everything, and it was a hard time because I couldn't physically do anything. I was in physical pain, I was in emotional pain, I was in just any sort of pain that you could imagine. I felt. I was battling with myself because obviously I left my baby at home. I left my baby in the hospital, and baby is so unwell. She's really unwell when I left her. And I said, you know what? The only thing I can do is, I'm home now. The only thing I can do is express. As the doctor said, she can't eat right now, but when she is ready to eat, there'll be plenty of milk waiting for her. So that's what I did. When I got home, I sterilized my my breast pump and everything. and I just started to express. I expressed so much to the point where my freezer has now been full. I can't put food in there. I've now got to the point where I've expressed so much, there's more breast milk than food. Yeah, I'd go to see her every single day, sometimes twice a day, depending on obviously my partner's schedule and if he was busy, if he was home or not, and bring breast milk. And when she got a bit bigger, I was able to hold her, so when I go there, I could hold her, I could change her nappy, I could check her temperature, because that's what I did. So basically in the hospital, there's rooms all down the ward, and like as your baby gets better, your baby gets closer to the door. So as she was getting closer to the door, I was able to have more responsibility. So when she was just born, the baby was their baby, the hospital's baby, like, because they were taking care of her. And as she got to the end, it's like as soon as I came in, as she got to the end, she's able to be in her cot. She came out of the incubator, she was in a big girl cot. She was better, she wasn't sick anymore. She was now, they was just keeping her in to gain weight, right? Because she weighed £3.7 at birth, she was quite small. So as soon as I go in now, just say hello, how's she been today, what's the latest news, blah blah blah. Then I'll check her temperature, because they might have checked it 10 minutes ago. I don't care, I'm going to check it because I want to make sure that everything's alright while I'm here. Mummy's here, so you lot are not playing with my child. So I'm going to check her temperature, I'll check her nappy. If her nappy's got poo in it or wee in it, I'm going to change it. If she's got vomit on her baby grow, I'm going to change that baby grow and put a new one on. Because sometimes these nurses and doctors, they get so busy and it's like they can't stay on top of things, but I have to, when I'm there, I have to stay on top of things. And I'll call up, hello, you guys said that you was going to give some milk, you was going to up her milk by 2 ml per hour. Have you upped her milk this hour? Like, yes mum, we've done it, don't panic. I'm like, right, cool. Because I've got to make sure she's in the care of somebody else. I've got to make sure that they're doing well, try to stay on top of them as well, because they will make, like, I'll go there sometimes and her skin would be really dry because she was underneath during this light for a long time. So I'd go there, her skin's dry, and I'm like, well, look at her skin's dry, do you want her skin to start cracking? Oh, sorry mum, we'll get right to it. Good. Can you put that in the notes as well to make sure that there's someone creaming her skin every couple of hours with Vaseline, because her skin's gonna start peeling, it's gonna start cracking, because that's what happened to my first daughter. My first daughter was overdue. I'm like, alright mum, we'll stay on top of things, we'll stop on top of things. Anyway, as I was saying, so me going to see the baby every single day, like, it's like I couldn't function without going to see her. Like, I couldn't function without going to see her. I would literally get up every morning, wait for my partner to drop our daughter to school. Once he's back, I would go to the hospital. I'll spend like 2-3 hours there. He would be at home with our son. I'll spend 2-3 hours there, then I'll come back home and I'll start my day. That would be my day started. I'll come back, clean up if I need to clean up, or start cooking dinner if I need to start cooking dinner before my oldest daughter comes back from school. You know, all these things that I'd start doing, but I couldn't start my day without seeing my princess. And yeah, it was just heartbreaking. Like, you go through stages, it's like mixed emotions. You go through stages where it's like you're just sitting there watching TV that has nothing to do with babies, and you just start bursting out crying because you're like, I have 3 kids, why am I only at home with 2 of them? I had two kids. I've never experienced anything. When I've had my babies, I've left the next day with both of my babies, no problems, no wahala. How come this time it just wasn't like that? I had to obviously wait 4 weeks, and I went there every single day without fail. I never not went to go see my baby, and it was hard because I felt like I'd go for 2-3 hours even on the weekends, and I felt like I was neglecting my 2 kids at home, because it's like they need me at home. My oldest daughter is realizing and noticing that I'm not that I'm going to the hospital all the time. She can't go to the hospital because at the time the coronavirus was around, it just wasn't as bad as it is now, and they wasn't allowing any guests to visit the babies. The only people that were allowed to visit the babies was the parents, so the mum and the dad. If you wasn't the mum and dad, you can't visit the children because the virus is so detrimental to people's health. So I just felt like I was neglecting my 2 children that I had. Plus I had to pay for parking, and that parking is not cheap in hospital. But every time I go, I spend like £7 to £10. Spend £7 to £10 every time I go, and I'm going every single day. The only times that I don't have to pay is weekends. So Saturday and Sunday is free parking. But other than that, I have to pay. Sometimes he'd give me the money to pay for the parking, or sometimes I paid the parking myself. So that was what it was. But she's now, I think she's close to £5 now, but she's growing beautifully. She's lovely, and that's my story, guys. I had a really tough year, potentially finding out that my daughter could potentially have Down syndrome, then being rushed into theatre and giving birth to my daughter 9 weeks early, with her being in the NICU for 4 weeks. And obviously with this virus thing, my life has not, it's just like my life just keeps spinning. I haven't really had time to like adapt to everything right now, because right now life doesn't seem the same anyway, because we're all locked in our house. There's nothing that we can do. Everything that I've been through to have her, I'm so happy that she's home. Like, she just completes the family, man. She just, let me turn that this way. She just completes the family. Her sister love her. Her brother, not so much. He would just walk past her. If I'm like, come kiss, give Samira a kiss, he would just walk past her. All the pain, the emotional pain, the mental pain that I endured of having this beautiful baby. She's beautiful, she's healthy. I just thank God, like I thank God for blessing me a 3rd time with another healthy and beautiful baby. Like, she's amazing. She's amazing. She doesn't really cry unless she's hungry. She's amazing. I've been through a lot this past year with this pregnancy, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I have any more kids. But for people who are going through this, or who has a baby that's in hospital or in the NICU at the moment, and they're struggling, this here is proof that God has got you, man. God wouldn't allow you to endure that pain, and she's made me so much more stronger. I love her. I just love her. She's made me so much more stronger, and like, I've been through a lot with her, and she's just so beautiful. Look at her. Oh, my baby, Sammy. Sammy. She's tiny though. She's tiny, Sammy. Right, anyway, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope this inspired some of you to stay strong and stay motivated and positive if things are not going your way. Remember, God always has a plan, and this was my plan. Like, crazy pregnancy. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. Well, you probably won't because you're stuck in quarantine, but stay self-isolated and stay safe. Bye guys.